Dear all, I hope this video finds you well. Welcome to another episode of What Exactly Do You Do? I am your host, Jennifer, and today I have a special guest with me who's going to introduce herself shortly. So let's welcome Onize or Swashi. I call her Oni Money. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy
Thank
that
you.
you're here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Okay, so do you want to let the audience know how you've come to know me?
Yeah, I mean, I've known you. We went to uni together, so
Okay.
I think that's a simple, straightforward answer. We went to
Yes,
uni
yes.
together, and I think what really made us close was we did the I Can Hustle together. The
Yes.
8 years I Can Hustle together. So
Yes,
so outside
yes.
that, then obviously post school, we just kept in touch
Yes.
over the years.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Only money. Okay, so before we dive into the questions, we're going to have an icebreaker session.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're just going to pick a question and answer.
Shake it.
Shake, shake, shake. Pray, pray, pray. Yeah, let's see. Drum roll.
If you knew early on that you had a guaranteed inheritance of
Mm.
$250 million,
Yeah.
US dollars,
Yeah.
would you still work as hard as you have till now? Or more? I think the question is, when did I know? Like, how is early on? If early on is childhood,
Childhood.
I highly doubt, if I'm being honest to myself, because I'm just like, I know one of the things that drove me to work hard was just like, there's no inheritance waiting for me.
You
So
don't
you need
want
to
to
work
be poor.
hard. You need to work hard. So if it depends on like the points, okay, maybe if I found out at secondary school time, as at that time I'd already formed my world opinion. So I would have said, oh, I have this money, I'm going to use it to do this, I'll invest it, I'll give to charity, I'll be like Bill Gates, that just, he's doing side quests. He has made his
Yeah.
money. Now he's just spending the money to
Yes.
do other things.
Yes,
That
yes,
kind
yes.
of thing.
Yeah.
And I think secondary school, university, if I found out around that period of time, that would have been my pusher. But if I found out as a child or more, I would have been a certified trust fund
Trust
baby.
fund baby.
I'm too
Hard
sure.
work in the no icon for you.
Please. No, we probably have just done it to do it and get away with it because you will not want to be uneducated. But I know within my heart,
Yes.
I would have lived the life of enjoyment.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
$250 million is a lot of
Is
money.
yes. That's enough money for me and 2 generations to come if I don't use it to do stupid things.
Yes, and you can invest it and live on the interest.
Oh, that's the most
That's the life.
straightforward. That's the life.
That's the life.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. I thought you were going to say money. I didn't do anything for money. Like,
Please, let's
I
not
would
lie to
still work
ourselves.
as hard. To be honest, wanting like a good life for yourself is a good enough motivation to actually work hard, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
all right. So, to the meat of the matter, what exactly do you do, and how long have you been doing it for?
Okay. So I'm a chartered accountant. I think that's the general umbrella.
Emphasis on chartered.
And I've been a chartered accountant for the past 6 years, almost 7 years ish. Yeah. And I'm one of those people that, I studied accounting in school. I did ICANN, and all my, all the roles I've done have been in finance, and very close to accounting. I'm not straight far away from my roots, as I would like to say. And although my current role is finance business partner, but that's just, accounting. Like that, I said, the umbrella term is accounting. Somebody tell you, oh, I'm an accountant. But when you now dig down to the nitty-gritty of what they do, you now find out that there are these different aspects, that somebody can actually be doing, even if the person's general, what are you, what do you do?
Yeah.
I'm an accountant. So I've done it for 7 years. Yeah, almost 7 years. I think I should just accept that 7 at this point.
Yeah, start saying 7. No, we're getting old. 6 is fine. 6 is actually fine. Like 7 is like almost a decade. I mean,
Oh, it's
Yeah.
close.
thank God you don't look like it.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So, I like to ask, did you always know that you're going to be an accountant? On your 7th day naming ceremony, when they were naming you and they're presenting you to our Lord Jesus Christ, like, we name Onize an accountant and she will find love in accounting? Or how did you did you fall into it? How did you make your decisions? What passions, what interests drove you in school, secondary school, that okay, maybe I want to do something in finance and then eventually accounting, or so let's know your journey and how you came to fall in love with accounting.
Yeah.
I'm saying it for Onise, she's in love with accounting.
I think the straightforward answer is that I don't know where it came from, but I always know that I always knew I was going to be an accountant. I used to say all this, when we're children, they ask you what do you want to be or what do you want to study. I would just always say, I want to study accountancy. I don't know why I called it accountancy there, but I just knew. I would not say I even knew like the nitty gritty. I knew that there was, you write, I can. I feel like for me, the perception I probably had was I knew I wanted to do like office work, dress up. One of my aunties, I think she worked in a bank then, and she dress up, look really nice, and watch all these movies and you see them, they're in the office, they look all nice. So I think that's just always what I saw myself doing. The same way some people saw themselves, you want to be a doctor, engineer, you are mingling with or tinkering with machines, so everybody knows, okay, this one will be an engineer. For me, that was just the perception. Okay, I knew I was going to do like office work kind of this thing, and somehow it was just always in my head that I was going to do accounting, or like I called it that time, accountancy. And obviously, as I now grew, I leaned towards money matters, as I like to call it. I will find that everywhere I went to, I mean, even just in my family, I'm not the firstborn, but somehow I'm the one that will always be like keeping money. Our little, when we're saving money, it was me that will keep the money.
And then they just automatically call you an accountant. She does not like to spend money. She's always keeping out. Accountant.
Yes, I'll be the one. I'll keep it. Then even down to like secondary school, when I entered secondary, you know how most boarding schools in Nigeria are, that do not allow you spend actual cash. They'll give you like a voucher, or in our case, we call it purchase check. And I was keeping, people will just always bring their money for me to keep for them, because for discipline and all of that. And I started doing that from like just 2, and I did that all the way. So I'll keep for my mates, I'll keep for like my juniors, so I was, and that one was just always there. People just always knew me Onise as this money babe, this finance babe. We didn't call it finance that time. And funny enough, I think as at when I left secondary school in SS3, I actually sat down to write down the list of people that had been keeping their PC, as we called it, for them at that point in time. And I think it was up to 50 people, like at different points in time. Like some people started, maybe after some time they'll stop. There was somebody that was probably consistent from just 2 all the way to SS3. So there was that. And I think in SS1 or SS2, I started doing business in school. I used to sell jewelry. Because some of it was contraband. So it was not very interesting because I was doing business. I always had like money. So people would pay. There were some things I would sell that I would collect purchase check. There were some things I would sell and I'll tell you, I want only cash. You can only give me like actual naira. So because of that, obviously when I sell, I need to find a way to convert my PC to actual cash. So I now became a bank sort of, where people knew that I would always have a lot of money. I always had like naira. So if you wanted to change currency, you can come and change it. If you want to take a loan, people knew, I need to go to talk shop today. I don't have money. I need to do this. I don't have money. So I always have like
from you, and then they'll pay with their next PC.
Yes. I always had like my list. I always had a list of people that were owing me. Funny enough, I still have some of these notebooks. I just refused to throw them away. So they're just in the house with like some of my secondary school stuff. And once in a while, I just look through them and I just laugh at myself that, what was I doing? Like I was selling earrings, 50 naira, 100 naira, all of that.
That's admirable. That's actually admirable.
Like I said, obviously I went to commercial class. There was no argument about. They even put me in science class, but I changed. They put me. I remember I cried because how you put me in science class. Like it was such a big deal for me. But thankfully I was able to change. So I went to commercial class.
Did you change immediately? Like
yes, in SS1. Okay. I didn't wait.
Normally they should ask you where you want to go to. So why were you forced into?
I mean, I think
science.
For us, the system they use, they will do some tests and all of that.
And then those that may score really high, that's how they like to do it.
Yes. Then everybody at the end of the day will now come and decide, I want to be in science, I want to be in art. Then you have the people, some people change after first term, some people change after second term, and all that funny stuff. So for me, I think it was just always straightforward. Like I said, I didn't even know, I can, 8 years. So like I think it was until I really entered uni that I really became conscious of, it wasn't just to study accounting. It
Mm-hmm.
was to study accounting and now also do ICANN. So
Contractor.
the goal was just always straightforward. And I feel like for me, obviously, because I was doing business, I always knew I had, would I call it like entrepreneurship leanings. I wanted to, I was very fascinated by all them Bill Gates, just have a
Mm-hmm.
business, start it from small and grow it.
Yeah.
So I knew that those were the roots, but at the core of it all, obviously I have to work and do
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
I might have like all these grand dreams and all, but what am I doing currently? Okay, what
Currently.
I'm doing currently is that I'm studying to be an accountant. When you enter uni, okay, I'm not just studying to be an accountant. I also need to now do ICANN and become a chartered accountant and see where it leads me. So yeah, I think that's a
That's
good
it.
overview.
Love it. Very passionate. Very passionate. I love that we're having this discussion because I mean sometimes people always lean to like the glam of, and when I say people, maybe like some HR professionals or people that are looking for something is more they think is more of an interesting story. Like if you have a background, let's say in engineering, and then you become an accountant, and then they're like, wow, this and that and all of that. But I feel like even studying accounting in itself, like you shouldn't, sometimes people try to water it down, like I can study accounting, I can
And
I can read.
anybody can study
Yeah, yeah,
accounting.
which is true, but I don't think that in itself, if you take that part to where you're going, it just shows that you know what you want to do and you know where you're going, that kind of thing, right? So yeah.
I mean, to mention a bit, there was a time I would say I had some sort of a, maybe would I call it some sort of an identity crisis. I think it was when I went for internship after 200 level,
Okay.
and we came back, and I feel like that time I started getting exposed to a lot of tech things,
Yeah,
and I
that's
started
when tech
hearing,
was coming.
I started hearing, oh, tech is going to take over the world. Everybody needs to learn
Yeah.
how to code.
Yes.
Careers like accounting is
That
not going
thing
to be
gave
relevant.
me that
Thank you.
thing
It wasn't
gave
only
me
me. So,
because I was like, will I not start learning programming and coding
oh,
with my
so
account?
I started to feel like, oh, what am I doing? Like, am I going to survive? How am I going to be? So, at that,
Yes.
obviously, I couldn't change course. That was not an option.
Yeah.
But at that point, I felt like a bit, I feel like it even affected my grades that semester because I was just like, what am I doing in this course? What is, what was really happening to me? And,
Yeah.
it was a bit confusing for me. So, I mean, in all honesty, now that maybe obviously as I explore my career path more, it might make sense later on when I
Yes.
say it's more. But I always say that if I could go back in time, I feel like I would probably study something else, then now go and do ATS and ICANN.
I can, yeah.
I would probably have taken that route to my finance, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, just like you said, a lot of people, they do engineering.
Yeah.
You can literally do anything and go and write ICANN. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
feel like I see people that have that background and I actually admire them because I know that that's an edge they actually do have, that, oh, you have this background and you just come and build, finance on top. And, I mean, this is not to make anybody that's studying accounting feel bad.
You can't. I was about to say that you respect them. That's you will not respect me. If I could do it all over again, I will do accounting in my next 100 life. I will still on my 100 times I come back. If that's actually, I will keep doing accounting because for me, I feel like the way my brain works is that I'm not just like studying. I am creating ideas like out of what I'm learning. I feel, and I don't think that I would be exactly who I am now if I didn't study accounting. Because literally, I mean, how do you explain somebody's passion in just learning about bookkeeping and like that?
Everybody
Like it
hated
was like I
business
was
studies.
born. I love business studies.
Everybody hated business studies.
I love business. Like everything made sense. The world came alive when I studied business studies, and I disliked integrated science in junior school. I used to fight with my integrated science teacher, protons, electrons. I can't see it. What are you telling me? But debit and credit,
At
I will
least
help you.
yes.
I will help you. For every debit entry, there must be a corresponding credit
Yeah.
entry. So I feel like there's no one part
Yeah.
you could follow. If you know if it's what you want to do, you will learn a lot in accounting because you're still exposed to economics, banking and finance and other
Yes.
courses as well, right?
Yeah.
So, and some people that eventually pivot to accounting from engineering, sometimes usually like circumstances that, oh, maybe that's where, our finance market is more developed in Nigeria than any
Yes.
industry. So in wanting to pivot, they're like, okay, I need to get that icon and I need
Yeah.
to, but I don't think my personal opinion, I don't think any one route is better than
Yes,
the other.
yes,
I
yes.
respect it. I give them the accolades, but I don't think it makes them better than me who studied
Yeah,
accounting.
oh,
And I don't
definitely.
think I'm better than anyone who
chooses to come
exactly
from
from
that. Yes,
another
yes,
route.
yes, yes. At the end of the day, everybody's the sum of your experiences,
Yes,
it
some of it
makes you who you are, and
make
you're unique
uh,
in your own way, that kind of thing. So
exactly, exactly. So I know that we've mentioned uni and all, but you studied commercials in secondary school,
yeah.
and then you decided it was no brainer that you wanted to do accounting.
I mean, even when people were mentioning economics, I'm just like, what's economics? Like, they're just like, I'm just like, what? We're just straightforward from there was no
Yeah,
confusion. There was no, I didn't even know
yeah.
anything banking and finance. I didn't know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think I probably knew business administration, but it was just like a straightforward route for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
accounting or
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's also there's some courses. It's important to say that if you're in school now and you're doing banking and finance and economics and accounting, you can the three of you can still have the same career path,
Yeah.
to be honest. Because when you think about it, most people that are in finance that have traditional backgrounds will be your economics, your accounting, and your banking and finance.
Yes.
So there is nothing really that once you do banking and finance, you
You're
can
stuck
you
there,
are
or you
stuck.
must work in a
You
bank.
must
I
work in
mean,
it.
it
Nah,
doesn't work that way.
it's just a way to separate people
Yes, at
than
the end
having
of the
one
day.
large finance
Fun.
class or
I
anything.
mean, and funny enough, I think just going back to what we're talking about before
Mm-hmm.
about coming from different parts into like
Mm-hmm.
finance, I
Yeah.
feel like it's even literally just how the world is today. I think there
Yeah.
are just very few careers that you have to really start from the beginning. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
the medicine, the pharmacy,
Yeah.
all those
Law.
law,
Very
those ones, you
yeah,
have to go through it.
specialized.
But most of all the I'm not saying a lot of careers today. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't do marketing in school, but if I
Mm-hmm.
decide I want to go into marketing today, there's a route for me
Yes,
to go
there's
into
a
marketing.
path
I
here.
want to start learning how to code. I want to
Yes.
do
Product
design. I want to
management.
do so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
obviously the hardcore specialized one you obviously have to
Have to
start from
start
the
from
beginning
scratch.
from
Yeah.
scratch. But
Yeah.
for a lot of careers in this day and age,
Mm-hmm.
there's pivots.
Oh
A lot of
yes, you
people are
can pivot.
pivoting.
You can be here in 20, you just change it.
Yes,
That's so
yes.
like
So
don't have
it's
breed.
sometimes I
Breed.
mean sometimes as you take a step, you just figure it out. You figure
Yes,
it out. And as
yes.
opportunities come, you just make the most of it.
Exactly. Word. Ah, I like this. Okay, so um one of my guests we spoke about how important like leadership is in okay, or even let's talk about your job, trying to get a job. So I want to assume that your time in school was nice. You enjoyed it, accounting and studying everything that you did. But how did you position yourself to get a job, NYC and beyond?
Okay.
Mm.
I feel like this part very unique
Mhm, mhm,
because for me, I remember very vividly. In fact, I have a digital journal that I use, and one thing I like about it that usually brings back like throwback entries. So today it will
mm,
bring back like post something I wrote like last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and as far back as I did. So
mm,
usually I see where I was in July 2020, 2018 when I
yes.
was leaving school. And I
Mm,
remember clearly one of the things that I wrote was, oh, Omo, they look like they have a plan. I
yeah.
don't have a plan. I mean, thankfully I graduated with good grades. I
Yeah.
graduated chartered because I
Yeah.
did my
Yeah.
icon while I was in school. But
Yeah.
I was just like, Omo, what's the way out? Like, I didn't know if you had asked me, I didn't know what I was like going to do next. I was
Mm-hmm.
just going, okay, the short part was we'll sign up and go for NYC and
Yes.
NYC will post you somewhere. But
Mm-hmm.
that's living your life to chance. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
was also trying to work and get something better. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
I know I applied to a few roles I'd seen here and there, internships here and there. But what I eventually got
Mm-hmm.
was a thing of, will I say, chance and luck. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm never tired of telling the story that
Ye-
literally on my convocation day, I put out the way you tweet, I've,
I was not a
you,
Twitter, but
yes,
yeah.
but you just tweeted my convocation pictures and all of that.
Yeah.
But I would say I was a bit more intentional. I didn't just tweet, oh, I'm graduating
Thank
today, thank
God.
God.
Yeah.
I kind of summarized my CV, so I put that, oh, I'm graduating today. I'm not graduating as a chartered accountant. I'm not just
Yeah,
graduating
like you're able
by
to
graduating as a
as a
chartered
chartered
account,
account.
it's I did
Yeah.
8 years too and all of
Yeah.
that. So it was
Yeah.
like very summarized summary of
Yeah.
where I was. So
Mm-hmm.
the CEO of the company I eventually worked with that time, he saw the tweet, and coincidentally at that time they had been telling him, oh, we need a finance intern, we need a finance intern. So it was I think there was also a boost that somebody that he knew was probably the one that
Yeah.
retweeted the tweet,
Yes.
and he saw it because
Yeah.
for him to have seen it, somebody must have retweeted it for it
Yes.
to get to his tier.
Yes.
So he
Yes.
saw it, and I think he even messaged the person that, oh, this one that you registered these girls to, do you know her?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And the person confirmed, oh, yes, I know her, that kind of thing. So he sends me a DM. Do you have a job? Obviously, no. I don't have a job. Send your CV. So I sent my CV. They called me for an interview, and I waited a bit and literally left school July 20th. I resumed my first job August 20. So I'll say that's what I like to say, is a thing of favor, luck, chance, everything combined together.
And hard work, because you stood out.
Yes.
Because you were able to get your ICANN.
Yes.
ICANN is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and is the certification you get to become a chartered accountant, right? And then it involves like years of training and examinations. There are different levels. If you're starting from ATS, it means that you want to try and finish ICANN before school, because you can finish with your BSc, and with your BSc you now do the skills and professional level. But if you're not doing that, you start from ATS, which is what we did, ATS 1, ATS 2, ATS 3, then because we had ATS3, we had like our ATSWA certification, and then we're able to now do the skills and professional. So we did 5 exams, and in some cases, like mine, I wrote some case study twice. So
I did audit twice too.
Okay, so
I mean, it's very rare that you go. There are just very few people, so don't feel bad if you fail a paper. To be honest, there are just very few people that can go through the whole process and clear all the papers.
I mean,
that's
we had
like
our
a
star
big
boy and girl that time.
It was literally just
exactly.
two people that did that
straight,
so
and
the
all
rest
of
of
that.
us.
But for me, I wrote case study again, but we were still able to. I mean, just before we graduated,
it was when our final results came out. I think it was like this 1 week or 2 weeks before, something like that. So it just confirmed it that we
are chartered, and then we had the whole this thing. Like, I feel I just want to touch on that a bit, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. And then I remember our final exams, we had it like the week our school exam was.
No, that was our
starting.
first semester of final year.
Yes, first semester of final year. Yes. And that's yes, because if it was second semester, I wouldn't have been able to write case study again. So it was first semester of final year, and the timetable was bloody. I think that week we didn't have, the first week we didn't have anything for accounts today. Then the next week,
and I think it was because of us. They changed the timetable. Our classmates were not happy.
Yes. Because we had ICANN exams that week, so we were literally studying for ICANN exams in school. We went to write the exam. Then I still remember, after immediately we finished ICANN, just went to the library to start studying for exam,
actual exam,
back to back. But it was worth it, right? Yes. Because you were able to stand out on your tweets, and then you got your first role, and from there, like,
I think, and I mean from there, because I'm currently on my 4th job. Yes, 4. I tend to lose count. And every other one after that, it has just been some form of, the second one was even more personal, because it was a recruiter that I knew. She had reached out to me. She had this role. I wasn't interested at that point, so I referred her to somebody else. So she and that person, they had kept in touch, although the person did not get the role, but they had kept in touch. So she had this role open. She reached out to him. He said he wasn't interested, and referred her back to me, because remember, I didn't keep in touch with her. So she came back to me, sent it to me, and I tried out for it. In fact, at the point where I tried out for that role, that was after NYC, I was just like, okay, I've done this company for over a year. It's probably time. At that point, I felt like the right natural path for me was to enter one of the big fours. And I was very confident. I was so confident I was going to get it, because I had all the qualification. There was nothing they wanted that I did not have, that kind of thing. So this other role came up, and it was, what makes it interesting was that was 2020. So it came up. It was very risky, because it was a very early stage startup. When I was going to go, I remember if at the HR at the company I was leaving, she literally told me, don't worry, if you go and you don't like it, come back. We'll accept you.
Which is all the security you need, because you're like, so what do I have to lose?
I actually took it as a big risk, because I'm just like, okay, these people have said I can come back. I mean, to be like coming back cap in hands begging, but there's that one. There's me still, because if you know anything about the big 4, if I'm correct, their recruitment usually takes a while, 2-3 months, 4 months, that kind of thing. So I was just like, okay, I'll enter these guys. I will still apply for my
big 4,
and just trust that one of them will click. If I don't like this one, I can go back. If I don't like this one, I can go back to
yes, you're creating it.
So that was the strategy in my head. But coincidentally, 2020 was when COVID happened, and the big 4 did not do their normal annual recruitment the way. In fact, I mean, I'd even started I'd submitted my CV. The next step was to do the assessment. So that did not happen again. I think eventually when they even came back to do the assessment was in December. And at that point I wasn't ready. I wasn't interested again.
Yeah.
So that's how I, joined this company. I stayed there. Then the next one that came was literally they hit me up on LinkedIn. Oh, we have this role available. Are you interested? Send me the JD. I looked at it. I was interested. We scheduled the interview, literally had the interview, and that was also straightforward. And the next one, which is where I am currently, it was also that kind of this thing where the scenario where they reached out to me on LinkedIn. Oh, we have this role. Are you interested? And went through the whole recruitment process, and
voila.
That's where I am today. So
oh. I am so emotional. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm so happy. I mean, that's why we're doing this, because I enjoy listening to people's like stories. Like, you realize that everybody, yes, I'm working in corporate, but you literally don't know like what anybody's doing. So just sitting now, hearing these stories and creating an avenue for other people that come in as well to learn these stories and just like see how people did it, like no jazz, nothing, like they hit you up. We're going to get into eventually how accounting is becoming hot cake, because on your status you're always putting it there, lack of accountants, lack of that. So we're going to touch on it, but before we touch on it, I want us to touch on your JD. For anybody that is okay, what does an accountant do? Like, let's get into it. Everything. So I know that there is the bookkeeping part and financial reporting and all of that. I want to hear from you, right? I want to hear the skills that you had to learn maybe on the job or prior to joining roles that recruiters are looking for to become or stand out as an accountant or BPA, or what you called it, finance BA and PM.
Finance business partner.
Yes, finance business partner. Basically, that whole role, like, let's get into it.
Okay, I think before I go into that, maybe I would tell the story from where I started to where I am today.
I like stories. Yes, yeah.
And for anybody, when you just hear accounting or accountants, your mind obviously goes to, these are the people that are in one corner of the office or the company that are hidden.
Yes,
their work is usually secluded.
Thank you for reminding me. One thing I grew up hearing is that don't be an accountant. They are poor people. You are just going to be counting people's money and you're going to be poor. You're going to be wearing one big suit and sitting down.
I never heard that, thankfully.
I heard it like literally, don't be an accountant. What do you want to do? Accounting? Why? You want to be You've never heard of like you're counting people's money but you don't have your own money. If I had $1 for every time someone said it, I'll be living in Banana Island. I'll have my mansion. I'm not joking. You've never heard it.
I mean, maybe I have, but not. Maybe I think I just probably never let it get to me.
It probably got to me. I don't want to be counting somebody's money and I don't have my money.
For me, like things I heard were, accountants can work anywhere. Accountants will always have jobs. So maybe those are even the things that encourage me more.
Wow.
Every company needs an accountant, so accountants will always be needed. They will never.
I did hear that, but I heard that they are poor, so you have to.
Never heard that one.
Okay, so what's your story of it?
Yeah. So for me, I was lucky that obviously because the companies I worked with were small/mid-size, early stage startup. I was generalist in my role, in the sense that I did everything. So literally as an intern, I was doing, treasury, interacting with the banks. I was posting to the accounting software. I was doing payments. I was doing receivables. That's following up with the
people that own the company.
So that kind of, that was like my first introduction into like different aspects of accounting. That as much as when you think of, when you're in school, what are they teaching you? Debit and credit, and you create all these fancy balance sheets and all of that. But when it comes to like the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day, is like they're actually different aspects of what makes up what a company will call its finance or its accounting department. So just walking into the door, most people's interaction with finance department is most likely with the payables team. I have one payment, I need this money needs to go. My vendor has not been paid. That
so
kind of thing.
To break it down.
Yeah,
so
payables, as the name says, they are the people, or the name implies, they are the people that are in charge of making sure that payments go out when they need to go out. Now, it's not just as simple as straightforward as logging into your internet banking to initiate a transfer and to just do transfer. I mean, when you hear somebody just thinks, oh, you just open your bank app and you're doing transfer. There's a lot that happens. There's a lot that happens before that. Okay, before the invoice gets to you, you're making sure that, I mean, every company will make sure that there's some form of approval process to make sure that what you're paying is actually what is supposed to be paid. You're paying the correct person. Then there's now the tax part involved where you're making sure that, I mean, if you know, there's withholding tax, there's VAT, there's all of that. Because you're supposed to pay an invoice of, somebody just picks up an invoice and you see that, okay, this invoice is 1 million. But it's not necessarily 1 million that you're going to transfer to the person. There's some computations you need to do to know the exact amount you're supposed to transfer. And when you now transfer, and when you eventually do the transfer, there is the part of now going to now record it on the accounting software. Because, I mean, the end goal and the summary of what every finance department should do is that you are, number one, managing the money of the organization, and number two, you are accounting, so you are showing this is what has happened to all the money that has passed through this organization within a period of time. So for every company or every finance department, usually their number one product is the financial reports at the end of every year, or not just at the end of every year, at every period. So you have monthly financial reports, quarterly, biannually, and eventually annually, and the obonga one, which is the audited financial statement. So you see, there's a lot. So let me take it back a bit. So like I already said, there's payables, you're making sure, and it's not so sometimes, okay, you're not just paying full, you pay in part. So it's for a small company, or when you think about, okay, you as yourself, if you think of yourself as a company, it's straightforward. Okay, maybe you get your salary, all the bills you need to pay, all the things, places you need to put money, and you just do all of that. But think of it in terms of a company that is doing millions and billions. You have like hundreds of payments that are passing through in a month. That is why literally one person needs to be dedicated. If it's a small company, one person can do multiple things, but as the company grows, one person needs to be dedicated, and this person, you're focused on all these payments, on handling payment. So that's why it now grows out to a role. You start out generalist, but as you grow, and also as the company grows, it grows out into a single role. There's one person that the person sits down every time. Everything that concerns the person is, payments. So on the opposite end, there's also like receivables, where obviously every company is set out to make money. Even charities need money one way or the other. So you are number one, following up with, okay, what's happening to our revenue? You're in charge of like revenue, and it's not even as straightforward as, you're just following up for invoices. There's now also the accounting part for it, to make sure that you're properly accounting for it. I don't want to go into much accounting jargon.
Wait, I was even like, let's take it to school for a bit, right? So I was going to give you like a case scenario, and then we'll do the transactions, we'll post it and all of that. So you gave the example of 1 million, right? So that people can also understand that, because also there are SMEs as well, or hopefully people that run SMEs that may be interested in, what accounting? Why do I need an accountant for my business? I can do it by myself. I have bank statement and all of that stuff, right? They don't realize the importance of it. So in simple terms, like if you have someone you're owing 1 million, for example, or let's use the receivables, a customer is supposed to pay you 1 million, right? So the transactions, let's say they have cash basis, accrual basis, right? So if they pay cash, we collect it, but we have accrual basis, and your customer must pay within 3 months. Let's go. Okay,
to start with, you and your customer, there's this week, you guys have agreed, you've negotiated, the price of this week is 1 million. Now, when it's time to do the invoice, you put 1 million, but then you also add VAT. In Nigeria, VAT is 7.5%. So it means that what the actual total invoice is 1,075,000. So now when it's time to now actually make payments, the person that is making payment, or even if you were the one making payments for something, you are not just going to transfer that 1,075,000
as the customer.
You have to withhold tax. Withholding tax comes into play, and withholding tax is basically, the government has mandated that when you are making payment to everybody, collect a part of that invoice and give it to me on those people's behalf. So it's just an advance payment of tax. So you do the computation, it varies between 5% and 10%.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, what you're now probably paying is quick maths. That's maybe like 1 million. I think 1,025,000. Yes, if we use 5%.
Yes, if we use 5%, 1,025,000.
Yeah, that eventually now lands
In your
into
account.
the bank account. Now, the person that transferred the money, you transferred 1,025,000. There's a 50,000 that is not
Yes, your own.
You need to remit that to the government.
Yes.
So that happens. Then you that received money, you received 1,025,000 for an invoice that was 1,075,000.
Yes.
It has to balance in your books.
Balance, exactly.
So you make sure you're recognizing that 50,000 as withholding tax, and you're not following up with that person that
for
paid.
your withholding tax receipts.
Yes,
because now you
make sure you send that money to the government, because that is my tax that you need to help me pay to the government. Then at the same time, there's a 75,000 that was paid to you that is for the government as VAT. You also need to remit that money. Then you can. So imagine you received 1,025,000. You've given 75 to the government, and you still have to recognize 1 million as your own revenue, even if what you received at the end of the day is 950,000. So imagine doing that across different transactions with different figures. I mean, softwares make it easy, but you
can't just you have to also pay attention. And all
somebody still literally has to sit down and do all this. Then posting to the accounting software. But then before we start thinking of things like accruals and prepayments, and that's even just on the accounting integrity side. So let me know. Let's leave that side. Let's leave that side. So I mean, just back to the different sections. I've spoken on payables and receivables. That's just like the basics. Then before you now talk of obviously that also moves into tax. Then there's like treasury, which is like managing all the bank accounts of the company. So like I said, if it's a small company, you probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bank accounts. Think about it as an individual. When you have I always say that even you as an individual, you have just 1 to 3 accounts, and sometimes you don't have a good grasp of your money. If you are very rich, you have 10 million, your net worth is 10 million. Think of how hard it is for you to keep track. Not to talk of a company that is
doing multiple.
They now think of it in terms of a bank. A company could literally have like 100 bank accounts, and there's money moving in all these bank accounts. There's so treasury, their work is to make sure that all our money is in our account. Money that needs to go out is going out. Then that's when we now start talking about things like investing,
managing liquidity.
Thank you. That's even the best way to describe it. Investing excess cash. Making sure that we don't just have money sitting down anywhere. Planning. Because you always have to plan. There are some obligations that money has to be in the accounts for.
Stocking your inventory, for example. You need
salaries.
Exactly.
If your company doesn't pay you salary, you know how you start getting.
Exactly.
If some people, if they don't see alert by 12 noon of the whatever salary date is, they're already shaking and panicking.
What's happening? Finance.
Thank you.
Finance. So what are the growth prospects for accountants? So run out of time already, but so you're just going to answer yes or no.
Okay.
Are accountants getting scarce?
Maybe this for somebody, this is your cue to go and start applying for foreign roles and putting yourself out there. Maybe you will need to pick up a skill or two, but try it and never hurts to try. I mean, what's the worst they will say no, and they say no, you go back to your life and you try again the next day.